Okay, so just continuing, last class we talked about like an introduction to what cloud computing is, and we talked about how there were a number of companies, like famous companies like Microsoft and IBM and Amazon who provide cloud services. So we're just going to take a very quick look at probably the most famous one, the most popular one being used now is Amazon's Web Services, AWS. Amazon's, just an overview of it. Amazon it's a public cloud, public global cloud service. It's currently being used by about 80% of the Fortune 500 companies. And the services that it provides is cloud-related services. So infrastructure services that do computations for you, processors, backups, power supplies. So they take care of all that information for you. They provide the platform you'll be working on. So they have, all the famous programming languages, Java, PHP, Ruby, etc., that kind of stuff. They provide software for your employees to use, so you don't have to buy licenses for all your users' laptops. They could provide that for you. And then all the storage handling, which we talked about last class, all the ways they could back up your storage so they have duplicate copies of everything, and then striping your storage so you could do fast searches if that's what your application needs. And then also, capability for sending out emails, blast emails out to all your customers, so it can handle all of that. So if you wanted to get started, this is one of the biggest money-making things that they have. It's so easy to get started using, just get a credit card and an email address and you can open up an account and start up right away. There's simple billing. Billing is done by the hour. It's, like we said last class, it's a utility, so you pay as you use it. And there's an integrated dashboard with all reports for your billings that you can log in and see. They're not complicated to use. And as students, if you have an .edu email address, you can get an account for free for a year, which has, you can't go over certain limits, but you can just get to use it for free. And as AWS grows, as it gets more and more customers, and the customers are sharing the processors and the storage that they have, the more it grows, the more the price comes down. So the utility price will slowly drop. And you'll even get emails that say, from AWS saying, the utility for the processors is dropping or the storage is dropping. So it's just, with time, it's just only going to get better. And stability is one of the most important things. AWS has an outage maybe once every other year. There's about 15 regions throughout the country where they're present. They've never had a global outage. They'll just have a regional outage. But like I say, it only has been happening maybe once every other year. So small startup companies to large blue chip companies use this service and can count on it being stable, to always be running. So some of the components of AWS is the Elastic Compute Cloud, the ECC, but they tend to use numbers now, so EC2, the 2 means 2 C's, right? EC2 is their server system, and they have small and big based on what your needs are for the servers that you're going to end up needing. They have a virtual private cloud, the VPC, and you join Amazon's private cloud. We talked last class about public clouds and private clouds and hybrid clouds, and you can run your services in a networked way. So yeah, if you didn't see the last class, if you didn't get it, if you weren't here in class, it'd be good to watch that video again. Because I'm basically just saying the names of the products that Amazon uses that go over the stuff we talked about in our last class. So so with the VPC, you join the Amazon's private cloud and you run your services network. Then there's the SSS, the S3, I think 3 S's. That's kind of a upload and sharing of files. So if your application, you're uploading a lot of pictures, documents for other people to use and see, kind of like Facebook or Snapchat. you would need a service that can simply just upload storage and then be able to find the stuff very quickly. They have a relational database service, the RDS, and it has a combination of all the most famous database management systems. So if you develop an app on your laptop and you use MySQL, they'll be able to have a MySQL database for you, or Oracle, or SQL Server. They have all the famous databases are all available through AWS. And the products that they have is a Route 53, which is a DNS server. So you can buy URLs and then have different processors or networks of processors and serving up web pages, and you could use their DNS service to point your URLs to the different servers that you have. So you'd have more control over it with Route 53. The Elastic Load Balancer, ELB, balances the network traffic over several services. So this is something that, this would be great if you come up with some billion-dollar app, and all of a sudden the traffic coming into it starts growing. Well, what they could do then is add more servers to handle traffic, and then through the DNS you can have a router routing incoming traffic to the server with the least amount of traffic on it. And then they also have a product called auto scaling. Your application, so your application is never down due to a load, so they'll always shift. If there's a lot of load, if you're sharing work with another company on the same processor, and it's due to a load coming in, they would automatically scale it, and you wouldn't be able to, your application wouldn't go down due to heavy traffic on the load. So you could add capacity on an as-needed basis. Okay. Then there's a topic, I know we talked about this last class, but I'll just say this again. So, if you're a database person, thanks. If you're a database person, you know SQL, right? You create tables and you put all your data into tables. But a lot of times e-commerce projects, we gave an example in our last class where you could have a table of products, and all your products have a name and a price and a description and pictures. And the problem is things like the price fluctuate a lot. So if you had a product and you put a price in it, then a bunch of people bought it, then the price changes, and then some people want to return the product. If you wanted to know what price they bought it at, you'd go to your products table and see what the price is, and it's only going to have the current price. So everybody's been buying this product, and you have a big history of all your customers who bought the product, and they've all bought it at different prices. So you have to record many, many, many prices. Every time someone buys it, you got to record the price that they bought it. So that doesn't get handled very well in an SQL database. So now it's popular for this type of application. It's a NoSQL database. And that's basically where every time a transaction occurs, you're taking a snapshot of a subset of the database and just capturing all the data. This person bought the product on this date at this price. We shipped out 5 products, but we broke them up into 2 shipments, so you have to keep a record of every little piece that happened. So you end up taking what's kind of like the receipt when you go buy something in a store. It's a picture of the receipt, and that has all the prices and information of that particular sale. So a NoSQL database, instead of having rows and columns in a table, they're kind of taking snapshots of documents. The documents actually have fields in them, and the values of those fields at the time the transaction occurred. So this ends up needing a lot more space than a traditional SQL database, a lot more space. So, so there's a popular buzzword in computer science now, Mongo database. And Mongo is just from the word humongous. And so a humongous database, which would be able to handle these no SQL documents in the database. And the documents have to be available for quick searching. So very expensive, thing to set up. But Amazon AWS sets this up for you. You end up needing this, it's going to cost you money, but it's there for you when you need it. So we have we have an eStore database, and the database has collections of customers and orders in the sense, in tables. The collections can be in documents, which are rows within a table, but not following a database schema. So there's no relations, there's no creating tables and the relations between them with diamonds. That is not in this format. So the database is much, much bigger, and AWS can handle that. So their version is called DynamoDB. So that's a product that you could buy. And so when you get your bill every month, so it's not like if you use GoDaddy or Network Solutions, where you pay an annual fee, you buy like a certain amount of disk space, and that's your fixed disk space. If you go over that, you have to buy, you'll get an error, and they'll want you to call you up, and your phone will ring, and then they'll call you up and say, your disk space ran out. Well, they'll warn you, but and you'll have to buy more. Here, you actually get a monthly bill, and it shows all your different usages for all the different products that you're using. So EC2, here's your bill for EC2 for the month. Here's your bill for S3 for the month. And you get a statement at the end of the month. So it'd be nice to get a bill like this, and your company's doing really, really well. If you're paying $175 a month, that means you have a lot of traffic coming in. So hopefully making a lot more money. This bill won't be that much for you. So you get, basically you get billed by the hour. And sign up is, like I said before, sign up is very easy. And you just get a monthly statement like this. And you could log in as the month's going on and see how your bill is doing. So that ends up helping a lot. And then, how big is it? Well, so Amazon, like I said before, AWS has 15 regions throughout the world. All parts of the world, every part of the world is within 1,000 miles of some region. So it pretty much covers the whole world. And each region has massive data centers in them. Each data center has anywhere between 300,000 and 500,000 servers available to them. So if the region started getting full, they would just add more servers, and that's why they got as high as 500,000. And then the idea is you could get certifications, because there's a lot to know. So, so we could become an AWS certified, get AWS certifications. There's actually several certifications you could get. Amazon provides those. They provide free training for them, and you take the test, and you could be certified. So as far as regulations are concerned, NASA is running on AWS, which has very, very strict government regulations as far as making sure the data is secure. And Amazon has passed the United States government regulations, so it's very, very secure. It's good to know that they passed that. And the certifications that you could get would be, you could be a solution architect, a developer, system operations administrator, development operations engineer. You could get the advanced networking certification, and then also the big data certification. So the big data is for applications like when you are, you have large amounts of data and you want to go through it looking for, the best stock purchase to make based on all the financial data that there is, or if you want to go through your customers' shopping carts, and if customers who buy, running pants also buy running shoes, or customers who buy Duracell AA batteries also buy Duracell AAA batteries. So you could look at what your customers are buying, run through the big data operations on all the data sets that you have, and draw conclusions like, you make a recommendation to a customer that they might want to buy something. So the analytics that do this, very complicated analytics, that go through all your data and decide customers who have a certain profile are very likely to buy a certain product that you sell, you could offer it to them. So Amazon provides those analytics too. That you have to do a little setup for, so you could be big data certified. That would be a very popular thing to go looking for a job and having that on your resume. Okay, so just a little brief history of Amazon Amazon Web Services. So Amazon originally started in 1994, and by 1995 they had the online bookstore. And so the guy, Jeff Bezos, who started Amazon, he used to work for D.E. Shaw, which is a financial, like a big data financial company in New York City. And he asked D.E. Shaw, the president of the company, you know, do you want to go in on this online bookstore, Amazon's online bookstore? And D.E. Shaw didn't think it was such a great idea, so Bezos went off on his own and started that. And that became Amazon, the original Amazon, where you're shopping online. By 2006, Amazon had made a lot of software. If you've ever logged into Amazon, you know if you buy something, as soon as you buy something, you get recommendations for other things you might want to buy. So they went through all this data that they had, the services that read through all the data that's used at Amazon, and realized there's many other companies or startup companies that would want the same services. So in 2006, AWS started. And they started off with the ECC or EC2 and the SSS or the 3S product. That's the first thing that came out. In 2009, the database component came out, RDS. And then Elastic Beanstalk came out, Glacier, DynamoDB. And yeah, so these other products like so Lambda is kind of a queuing product. Well, I mean, we could go into details about all these different products, but this is just an introduction to Amazon, just basically what it is. So if you just wanted to talk at a very high level. So some buzzwords that you might see, these aren't actually Amazon, these aren't AWS buzzwords, but they use this type of setup in the background. So, you know, so you might see someone might say, hey, you know, how do they offer software as a service? So this is just a little dictionary of popular cloud buzzwords that we might want to learn. So like I say, this is just a brief introduction of one of the popular ones, but by far the most popular cloud service that's out there. Very, you know, nothing to be afraid of. It's very easy to sign up and become a member of. Of course, it has many, many capabilities, so you'd have to learn over time all the capabilities it has, but this is a great place to get started. So, you know, if anyone has any